That girl that was checking him out,
She wouldn't stop talking about it.
it was funny because I was looking at her as she was looking at him, and she just kind of looked him up and down. She's like, Ryan, you look really good.
Yeah. All night, she was just like, you look so good. Like, you're glowing.
We're going to talk about our friend Ryan and the story of Ryan.
The story of Ryan.
How do you want to set it up?
I think that he's a good example of how changing a few habits can really turn your life around. And for him, it was changing a few bad habits into good habits. So he stopped drinking, he started working out, and he stopped eating like poor quality fast food and started eating better food. And both you and I and a bunch of other people have seen just such an improvement in how he carries himself, how he interacts with people, how he looks. He looks so much better. As, we were at that party last night and one of the girls was just like, not to be creepy or anything, but I've been checking you out all night. She was just like, you look so good. Like, you're glowing. But it's like that you look better when you practice healthy, good habits. Like when you take care of your body, you look better. Your skin improves, you lose weight or you tone up or, your mood also improves. And so, yeah, he's just been doing a really great job.
And before, he had a couple of bad habits that layered on each other, and they made each one of the bad habits kind of worse. So he would regularly drink a bit much, and then he would go out and eat poor quality food, and then he would get really bad sleep. And he would regularly be a little like a curmudgeon. He was just combative. He was just argumentative.
Yeah, for the sake of...
Yeah, just for the sake of argument. Yeah, and just was kind of just like not a very positive person when he had those habits.
Right.
And then it was interesting. It was over a period of a couple of months that he really worked on himself. So he cut out regular drinking. He cut out smoking. He used to smoke also. He got really on this health kick, and he started working out, I think, on a daily basis. He would still do, like, even if he didn't want to do, like, a crazy workout, he would do, like, push-ups and pull-ups and all that stuff. And he started getting regular sleep. He noticed that it helped his sleep out. And then and his mood in overall just improved. He became happier. And more positive. And he even mentioned yesterday how he's like, I just feel like it was a fog, like I was in a fog. And it's just like, as soon as I started, doing all these positive habits, I started to feel clearer and stop like being randomly angry at things.
He himself even admitted that, like, he used to have, would just be angrier and, and like sort of lash out for no good reason. And, that's something that, like, he had noticed himself, and now he doesn't have those sort of leanings. Because it's like he doesn't really have any reason to just be irrationally angry at people. I think another thing, too, that plays a big component, like, part to it, is I think he started to surround himself with better people as well. I know that, his previous roommate situation, or one of his previous roommate situations, had been, like, a really negative experience. And now he's in a much, much better situation. It's like his apartment is super, super awesome. It's just like huge and great space. And, the people that he lives with are also just, adults who are like productive and happy and like positive overall. So yeah, it's really been interesting. I think the thing that struck me the most is just, being able to see that shift and that change and like a physical transformation of it.
Right, that girl that was checking him out, she
wouldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah, she just like it was funny because I was looking at her as she was looking at him, and she just kind of looked him up and down. She's like, Ryan, you look really good.
Yeah.
So it's just really funny, and I imagine that's what single ladies are thinking also, but are gonna make themselves available if they're single, if they happen to like him. So it was good. And so, like, I guess to translate it, I mean, that's why it's so important to take on a positive habit and make a shift. If there's something, I really like the Turkish proverb that no matter how far you went down the wrong path, the wrong road, stop and turn around. And I feel like that's what he did. He sort of was going down the wrong path, and he like literally just stopped and said, okay, I'm not going down. This seems to be a dead end.
Right.
And if I keep walking, I'm really not going to enjoy my experience. And he stopped, turned around, and now he's like asking us for advice of like, hey, how do I step it up in the opposite direction? Like, how do I work
Yeah,
out
yeah.
more? You know, how do I really step up my nutrition? What do I need to cut out? It's not only about
Yeah.
quitting these like first initial vices like smoking and drinking and eating poorly and sleeping poorly and not working out, but it's just adding on
Like,
more.
what more can I do?
Yeah, what more can I do? And that's, I think, testament to, you know, what a couple of good habits implemented over a period of time can do to you, is that you
Yeah.
notice these improvements, and then you get like, it becomes he even says it becomes a positive addiction. You just feel good, and you're like, I want to do
keep
more.
doing that, yeah.
I want more of this good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's also when you incorporate like one really good habit, it makes it much easier to add on additional habits as well. And something that he had mentioned too when it came to eating better quality food is he was saying that, like, you know, he's been working out, but he stopped eating fast food because he was like, well, what's the point of working out if I'm just gonna eat fast food? Like, that's not gonna, you know, I'm just sort of like shooting myself in the foot, or, you know, I'm taking like one step forward but then another step back, so I'm still not like progressing. So he's like, you know, he was like, it was kind of for a vanity thing, but because he wanted to look better, but like, hey, who cares, you know? Like, that's a totally legit reason to want to be healthier, is for vanity.
Yeah, I agree.
Another thing that I would want to mention too is that, you know, I think he did a very good job of taking personal responsibility too. You know, it wasn't, oh, you know, I'm this way because of so and so, or because this happened and I'm just going to complain about it all the time, you know? It was more of like, okay, I don't like this situation. What am I going to do to change it? And he changed it.
And the thing that I wanted to mention was like, that was the idea of becoming your best self.
Yeah.
So he's clearly on that path now.
Yeah.
He looked and said, okay, this is a better way than the way it was before. And he, like, not only physically, mentally, and emotionally got better. And I think that's ultimately,
Yeah.
like, it's, I think the idea of like, what this path will lead would be a better life experience for him as a whole. And also, you know, I think it also like attracts like, right? He's going to attract people that are going to be like the quality of the girls he's going to be around with going forward are going to be just better. They're not going to be
totally
negative. Or same thing for his, you know, and there's so many spillover effects too. It doesn't, when you get better at physically and then mentally, and you are rested and showing up with more physical, mental, emotional energy, you're more productive, you're more happier. And that translates into, you know, your work, your relationships, and just your outlook on life. And he seemed like he really is living that.
Yeah, he's doing great. I'm like, I feel so proud of him.
Yeah, me too. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention was that the complete opposite is also true. You know, if you take steps that are either mediocre or even destructive, like you're taking a step toward your worst self, so you could just drift into mediocrity, or actually just check out and just do really destructive habits, then you get those the opposite of those results. And I think he's tasted both, and he's just like clearly like, no, I'm going this way.
Clearly one's better than the other.
One's better than the other, and I'm going the other way. And I think that's so important, how a few positive habits, and you don't have to start, I think starting out small in them
yeah.
is like critical.
Absolutely.
Like,
Just start out small.
take like one small goal, hammer away at it,
Yeah.
and it'll give you the confidence and sort of the perseverance to attack a bigger goal. And then eventually, you know, you're doing like 500-pound deadlifts, and you know, you're feeling great, and you know, you're just really like, you're on a paleo kick or whatever.
Crossfitter.
Yeah, exactly.